Hello and welcome to yet another legacy video. As I talked about in the previous video, I'm currently preparing for a weekend full of legacy events. There are a couple of qualifiers on Magic Online and the usual challenges, and I want to showcase more of the tier 1 decks this time around. So yesterday I played Blue-Black Reanimator, and today it's going to be Izzet Delver. So the Delver's been around for ages, and what I think you can kind of boil it down to is if there's another good one drop that is good in the format. That has been Nimble Mongoose, that has been Deathrite Shaman, that's been Ragavan historically, and now it's Dragon Rage Channeler. So I think with 8 one drops, you have that opening often enough. Basically, if Delver doesn't have a one drop on turn 1, I don't think it's a scary deck, but because you have that so often, it kind of is a scary deck, right? So the core has basically always been trying to wasteland your opponent, trying to daze your opponent, trying to force will your opponent, and then kind of win with virtual card advantage because your cards are so cheap, and if the opponent has 3 or 4 mana spells in their deck, oh, excuse me. If the opponent has 3 or 4 mana cards in their deck, then all of a sudden you have an advantage there. You can run a very low land count. The 14 blue has always been the case. We have our cantrips, we have our removal spells, we have our big beaters in Murktide, and we have a couple of questing druids. So this card is basically poor man's expressive iteration when it comes to card advantage, but it comes with a Quirion Dryad attached, which is a card, believe it or not, we used to play in Vintage and be very, very happy about, maybe, I don't know, 15 years ago. So yeah, I like this card a lot. It does make us play another color, and that is 1 Tropical Island. So if you play with this deck, make sure to not get that wasted at a bad moment if you can avoid it, and if you play against it, that is definitely a way to strand cards out of the Delver deck and give it a little less durability in longer games. Of course, sometimes we just draw the tropical and we have to use it as a blue source, but if we can help it, we want to fetch it out the moment we actually intend on casting a questing druid. The flex slots in the main deck are Brazen Borrower, Part-Time Threat, Part-Time Universal Answer. I play a single Force Negation in the main deck, but that's basically, you should see this as sideboard card number 16, and the same with Counterbalance. This is basically sideboard card number 17. I think there is enough, Brainstorm Ponder decks in the format that main decking Counterbalance is fine. If you want to main deck 2 Counterbalances over the negation or 2 negations over the Counterbalance, feel free. One of them flips a Delver, the other one doesn't. One helps better with Delirium than the other one. So yeah, take your pick. Sideboard, we are set up for Mirror and Red Stompy. More, counterbalances for me, like Chalice of the Void for 1. Just imagine a matchup where Chalice of the Void for 1 would be effective against the opponent. Then most likely Counterbalance would come in. A little bit of insulation against dying early against combo. More answers for Knight of the Reliquary, Eldritch Reclaimer, Merit Lage, all of that jazz. A couple of meltdowns for artifact strategies. A couple of Price of Progress if the opponent gets greedy with either a smattering of duels or, Merit Lage strategies in general. Then I have a split of Graveyard Hate. 3 Graveyard Hate is pretty good in this meta, I would say, and sometimes it's better to make your opponent commit and have Surgical. Sometimes it's better to have the permanent effect in Grafdigger's Cage, and sometimes it's better to have the potential cantrip lying around and just, exiling a single card upon resolution. So yeah, I split them up, and triple Pyroblast for basically any blue matchup. All right, that'll do it for the deck tech. Let's take this nice Izzet Delver deck for a spin. Okay, round 1 on the draw here. I'm playing Izzet Delver, trying to get some reps in before this weekend's Legacy tournaments. We have a keep here. Ooh, we're up against Ancient Tomb. Okay. Let's see if the opponent goes all in on something turn 1. That would be ideal for me. Trying to let these non-bombs quick resolve and with the hope that my opponent plays into Force of Will. Let's try another blue here. Then I really like my spot. Okay. So what I want to do here is check my top card. If it's blue, I'll leave it there. If it's not, I'll fetch before drawing the card. A little bit of card selection out of the bauble here. I like the card, so let me get that Brainstorm. So I don't know what I'm up against here. Island. Probably some the One Ring Coveted Jewel style deck, but who knows? I'm not an expert on that kind of deck for Legacy, but I would assume that's what we're up against. The opponent passes the turn here, so maybe they're smelling the Force of Will. So what I want to say here before my draw step is I don't want to lose to my opponent drawing an Ursa Saga, so it's very high priority to find a Wasteland. I think what I'm supposed to do here is pass and then end step the Questing Druid. Hopefully find like a land and a cheap spell. I can fetch out Tropical and Volcanic Island, no problem. Fetch land even. Okay, and I definitely don't know what's in my opponent's deck, but it's probably some kind of paradoxical outcome deck. Let's fetch. Paradoxical outcome, coveted jewel, stuff like that. Let's seek the beast. Double spell here wouldn't be the best. I really want to find a combination of, I mean, at least a bauble or a land. The cool thing about this situation is if I can get my opponent to go for it, and by saying go for it, I mean, oh, okay. Yeah, I really don't know what's going on over there, but my opponent plays Grim Monolith. Is that... I'm thinking about stuff like Hive Mind, but I don't know. They like the card on top, and now what? Nothing. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I hit a Brainstorm and a land, which is kind of ideal. So now I can go play the land, play Questing Druid, play Brainstorm. I still have double force in hand. That's cool. Play Brainstorm. I will have to go to cleanup here unless I hit a bauble. I don't hit a bauble, so I guess I put 2 lightning bolts back on my deck and maybe discard Volcanic Island. I think I like that. Maybe I have to do a little math here. Will I have lethal next turn if I triple bolt my opponent and attack? Let's say the opponent goes for something broken here, and I have to force twice. Then this is a 4/4. Then I can bolt, go Volcanic Island, bolt 3 times. Then that's 9 plus 7. Is that correct? Yeah, that would be 9 plus 7. And 9 plus 7, that's 16. Interesting. So if I discard blue card Wasteland, put back something like I wonder if I can have access to double force and triple bolt next turn. I'm not convinced I can do that. Maybe I have to, you know, take a turn off. Yeah, I don't think there's a way for me to have that. Well, okay, I think there is. Okay. So I put back Murktide, land, and I discard the Wasteland. Okay, let's try that. So if my opponent uses the Ancient Tomb, I have lethal next turn, which is not something the opponent can really count on, to be honest. Doing nothing in the face of the Druid is not ideal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is too cute. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. 5 mana. Transmute artifact. So the opponent wants to find a 3-drop. Sacking that. So let's Force of Will, pitch Brainstorm. The opponent forces. So that is enough to go for the lethal I talked about. So I wonder which 3-drop they would go for. I'm just scared it's going to be something like Tray Ball. Okay, I might have outsmarted myself here, because I could have had like a Daze in the back pocket now, and the opponent has exactly 6 mana left here. The dream is the opponent passes a turn now, but I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't like this, but it was a very tough situation. Opponent passed a turn. Let's hope I did the math. The Force of Will and tapping Ancient Tomb was the same in this clock, so exactly lethal. Pretty cool turn 4 kill. I mean, I've never seen that before. The questing druid for lethal turn 4, but it surely worked. So Pyroblast is good. Meltdown is good because the opponent will like develop some artifact. Force Negation is good. Counterbalance might be good. So this is a matchup where I don't want any removal because I don't. Otherwise, I can't fit all this stuff. Why is Counterbalance good? Counterbalance is the opponent must play like Opal, Petal, stuff like that, and I play 18 lands and 4 baubles. That must be good enough. Funnily enough, I think the Druid is not very good against the deck. I think I got very lucky. So here is basically between a Druid and a Daze, but Daze being blue and pitching to the Forces will get it over the hump. That was funny. Yeah, I think my opponent's deck is like Transmute Artifact, Dual, Paradoxical Outcome, stuff like that. Probably Ursa Saga as well, which is always scary. But the Meltdown should help. I will mulligan a 0-lander into a 4-lander. That'll be fine. So if I just get rid of the Tropical, I guess, I can just fetch it later. Yeah, this hand is very bad. Like, no Wasteland, no counter spells, but we can't go further here. That's just how... That's how the rules are. Also, we don't know if the opponent is gonna, you know, respect the force, like slow play a little bit, like last game. So let's see. I put a tropical on the bottom. So fetching doesn't make sense. Randomizing my deck. I really don't want to draw that card. Blue to Delta, terrible draw. The opponent goes for... Okay, so they actually play Grixis colors. That's cool. So we saw black, now we see red. That could be... I don't know. Aeroblast out of red, maybe? What do I have out of black? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really well versed in the different artifact combo decks for Legacy. Here's a Braid. That's very acceptable. In general, when the combo deck plays like reactive 1-for-1 cards, it's a win for Delver, so don't mind that. Let's brainstorm here. There's a Meltdown where I can kill a single Petal. It is definitely more viable than it sounds. Let's put back 2 lands. Meltdown here. I don't think I can do it. I will ponder. Is this a case where I go for tropical? It's bad if I need to like channeler meltdown, pyroblast meltdown on the same turn cycle, so I'll not do it. ponder into these boys. Huh. So no Daze, no Force, which means the opponent can maybe resolve something like One Ring right now, which is horrible. There is something to be said about shuffling being a sign of weakness, which could be the tiebreaker for the opponent to go for it. Wasteland is good. I can get all of those 3, and I can go Wasteland, Murktide on my next turn. I'll actually try and shuffle these and try and find a free counter, but yeah, there's the One Ring. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why that I'm expecting a One Ring. So I want to find interaction, but then again, I'm also showing weakness by sacrificing. No, not sacrificing, by shuffling with the Ponder. So yeah, it's tough. If the opponent plays One Ring here, I'm in deep trouble. Okay, they don't. So this is cool. So game 1, we saw our opponent hesitate. Chaos Defiler. In game 1, we saw our opponent hesitate and pass the turn with the ability to cast stuff because they respected counterspells. So that's like the context of this, where the opponent could just have gotten an untapped land here and cast the One Ring, but they didn't want to get dazed. So the opponent is obviously thinking a lot about what kind of stuff I can have, right? So with that in mind, I can now go counterbalance, melt down the pedal, and try and keep my opponent from playing Magic. Or I can go play fetch, play ponder, try and look for interaction, and also have the questing druid help look for action. Or answers to action, I guess. I feel like this is a very crucial turn of the game. A lot of turns with Delver, it's basically just like, sequencing your cantrips, fetches, stuff like that to get the most looks. But here's actually a heavy decision about how this game will go going forward, in my opinion. And ponder into and take the best of the 3 cards. Then use this as a shuffle to look 2 deeper for Force of Will or Negation. I think this is how you play. Huh. Okay. I think I like that Brainstorm. My plan might have changed once more. Now I go Meltdown for 0, and then I have the Fetch and the Brainstorm to dig with. Also, this play looks like I have Daze in hand, and I want Daze to stay relevant, which may buy me more time. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. A lot of stuff here, when you play Magic at this level, for me at least, is the context within the game, where a play can be, medium in a vacuum, but in this context of what the opponent showed of tendencies, it can be better. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, these cards are quite horrible, so I could do some fancy stuff with counterbalance. No, I'm not going to do that. So Bowmasters is annoying. It's not the end of the world, though, because now I kind of played a lot of cantrips, and I don't have any more, so let's see. The opponent has a One Ring in hand, and they missed their land drop, so my mana denial strategy for sure worked. And now I can even get some stuff in play. I have a land on top, which is not bad, not bad. Now I played Delver. I am worried about... not worried. I'm aware, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm aware of Pyroblast being an option here. So I try and deploy a little pressure here to make sure I win the race. And I have counterbalance. Oh, this is Dismember? No. Oh, Metamorph. The opponent wants... let's see. I don't have any 4-drops in my deck, do I? No, now my opponent just makes another Bowmaster and... The race is on here. I'll take 3. I do have my sold questing druid, which is kind of funny. Let's see if my opponent has a 0-drop to play into the counterbalance before I take my turn. They don't. I'll fetch. Volcanic Island. Draw. Pyroblast is not horrible. So let's see. Maybe I just go questing druid now. That makes sense. Or seek the beast rather. No. I might brazen borrower the orc army though to serve my life total, depending on what the opponent does, of course. Cool sideboard plan here with Braid, a little bit of Chaos Defiler. I guess you can you can transmute after Chaos Defiler. That's pretty awesome. I love this card. Took a while to you know, get implemented on Magic Online. Okay, so the opponent wants another Bowmaster. I think this is my clue to go seek the beast, because there might be a Daze. Delver Wasteland. That's not horrible Magic cards. So that resolves. I will bounce the Orc army here before damage. So I go to 12, I bounce, I go to 10. The opponent has 3 Bowmasters in play, which is kind of funny. So petty theft on the token. On my next turn, I can go questing druid, Delver, Wasteland, hold up Pyroblast, and kind of stabilize with a 2/2, while hopefully stranding stuff in my opponent's hand. So I go questing druid, Wasteland, Delver. Maybe I am okay with red moving forward. Maybe the black is acceptable. Okay. I'll Wasteland red here. It's... The opponent can draw Urza Saga, so this is not like foolproof, but I think this is okay for now. Also, hopefully my opponent just can't attack here because of my 2/2. If they do attack, it's because they have one more Bowmaster, and then first I can random flip to check for a 2-drop, and if that doesn't work, then I can at least, you know, Pyroblast nothing to grow the questing druid in a desperate situation. Let's see if we can flip the Delver here. That would be pretty darn good. Okay, no flip. Terrible Island was drawn. I'll give my opponent the impression that I drew Polluted Delta. So now I have to think. I actually think I'm attacking here. I want to put my opponent away this game. Then this. Get in for 3. I think this is very important that sometimes, even though you're behind on life and the damage race is not in a vacuum favored for you, you still attack because you have the interest of closing out the game. So it's basically like, who's the beatdown and who benefits from a longer game. And that requires some analysis because you can't always be sure about that. So the opponent has, just nothing in hand. So let's see if we can flip the Delver. Or I guess no mana sources. That's the Scalding Tarn. Yeah, that's very bad. That's very bad, of course, but we have the fetch land to get a freshie. Daze. Unclear if that is any good. So let's see. If I attack with everybody, my opponent's down to what? They're down to 4. And if they're down to 4, they die to some stuff. I think this is a fine attack. So if I flip the Delver, it's lethal. If I don't flip the Delver, the opponent has to start blocking the Questing Druid. Yeah, Ancient Tomb can't be used. Ow, okay. It looks like the opponent's banking on resolving the One Ring here. With this attack, I mean, we'll take that fight. I can Daze it, then I can Pyroblast my opponent's Force of Will, most likely. So let's Daze, turn, and then I will random flip for Force of Will before casting Pyroblast. Worth noting is the opponent cannot Force of Will twice because of the life total. Okay. Yeah, okay, that'll do it. Yeah, the opponent played around Daze only to lose with uncastables in hand after Wasteland, which is a very classic thing against Delver. It's of course important to respect Daze, but if that means you're gonna be very bad against Wasteland, I don't like it. So yeah, it's tough because if the opponent plays a One Ring there, attacks a pedal, gets dazed, they are also in a bad spot, right? So sometimes it's pick your poison, and this time the opponent picked, I guess they picked wrong from their point of view. I was able to beat 3 Bowmasters here, mainly because I already fired off my cantrips. And funnily enough, the one Questing Druid that I had left in the deck was good, and game 1 it resulted in a fast kill. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? Okay, that'll do it for round 1. Let's see if we can get some more cool games in. Alrighty, round 2. I'm on the play. I play Delver. And yeah, I mean, Chandler Daze, Wasteland. That's this deck's bread and butter basically. So let's see. We have a removal spell, a Wasteland, and a Daze. So we have game against most stuff the opponent can throw at us. And once we know the matchup, the Ponder is going to be way better. So let's see. Ancient Tomb. That's a popular card these days. Oof. Okay, so I hope this is not a Chalice of the Void. I hope this is some kind of 3-drop. What is this? Return the Favor. 2 mana spree card. So let's say you play 3 mana. Copy target instant sorcery spell. You might choose new targets for the copy. Oh, interesting. So yeah. Okay, this could be a tough one. The Chalice around Daze here. I believe I play a single Brazen Borrower to kind of get out of this mess. I'll Wasteland here to enhance the chance of Daze being good. Actually, I think I was supposed to Ponder there, but I couldn't have hit Delirium, so it doesn't hurt me. I think I'm supposed to play into this to try and dig for something like Murktide and help with Delirium. There's the Murky, so yeah, we keep that card. I don't think bottoming that, throwing that card to the yard makes sense. So let's hope Daze is good here, and I can get to the Murktide on turn 4. Nice spare Ancient Tomb there. That could be the death sentence. Oh. Stingerback Terror. Plotted. Okay, so I'm scared. I'm very scared. Um, I'll just play Volcanic, attack for 1, and I'll probably get smoked by the dragon. No, but really the challenge got me here. That was a heads up play by the opponent, playing around the disruption. That would be the absolute worst. And realistically, it looks like their hand was going to imprint for Chrome Mox anyway, so the cost wasn't, even though it looks like a big cost, it really wasn't. Sometimes it's a big part of the Magic formats I play. I would bet any Magic format that you kind of know what kind of interaction can the opponent have at given times, and how can I circumvent that. I'm not advocating, playing around everything at all times. It's just being aware of that is awesome. Speaking of awesome, this card is pretty awesome. So, I mean, the art. That's a cool one. The small goblins keep coming out of the box, and they basically just blindly follow their leader and attack every turn. So, yeah, we don't have a chance this game rather. Feel like I should just unholy heat into the void here. So now I have 3 instants in the yard. Was that supposed to daze my own spell here? I might have made a mistake. Okay, I draw a bauble. That's not bad. Am I supposed to daze my own bauble here? Let's see what we hit off of the Surveil trigger. Okay, fair enough. I'll daze my own bauble here to hopefully get another instant. I will pay, because I do have that luxury. Yes. Resolve. And I don't want to get to Delirium now because of the must attack being quite terrible. So let's see, 1, 2, 5. Okay, got it. So I guess I just do like this. See if I like the card. I don't really like that card. Fetch green. Play Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remove Delirium. Play the 8/8. And kind of prolong the game here. Hopefully draw a nice card here that's castable. Okay, another Murktide. Okay, so I have game. I have game. Also, this card can never be better than a 8/8 Murktide, right? That's kind of cool. I have a pretty healthy life total. I am scared about the card Fury, though. Another Rabble Master. Okay. Can't say I like that. When it will get double Goblin, then before I know it, they will have like Rabble Master. Oh, it forces that one to attack. Wow, I'm not sure the opponent thought about that. The second Rabble Master forces the first one to attack, which is very good for me in this situation, at least. I'll take 3 because I actively want to draw something like Brainstorm Ponder and get more chances to power my graveyard. Guess that wasn't the case. So maybe this is a good time to attack with Murktide. And then play a 3/3 Murktide afterwards. This is a weird game. This is a very weird game. I will lose to Fury as my opponent's last card, but I think that's acceptable. No chum block. Opponent's at 4. I will leave the artifact in my graveyard, play 3/3 Murktide. That card trades for Rebel Master, but maybe... Yeah, let's see what I do there. Because I'm hoping the opponent has to keep back the Stinger. I lose to Fury easily. So I'm trying to beat like the rest of my opponent's deck, basically. Stinger gets in there. Now I'm scared. Okay. I feel like I should just block like this and take how much? Take 10? Maybe like this. Then what if my opponent has another Stinger? I just don't think that's beatable. Is it a 4-drop? Yeah, it's a 4-drop. Okay, so next Stinger is not beatable. This doesn't change that. One Murktide hit is not lethal. Okay, so let's see the opponent's last card. If that is a good one. Draw Bauble, doesn't do anything. We just check if we lose or win. Okay, that was pretty amazing. The challenge for 1, just Murktide Regent, everybody. And I'm happy I got another chance to daze my own spell there. That was the clutch one. That was the clutch part of that game. Okay, so a couple of Hydroblasts. Those are awesome. A couple of Meltdowns. Those are necessary. Counterbalance, it's not a good card. I think I'll let go of my card advantage stuff. And put in those. Question is if I want negation for stuff like Blood Moon, Chalice, Fable. I think I do. I think you can always cut a bauble if when in doubt, cut a bauble. I think that works. I also wouldn't mind cutting a Daze, but I think keeping a blue card could be clutch. Okay, let's try this. Ooh, that was scary. But also, I think the opponent being forced to attack into with one of the Rabble Masters, it didn't look like that was planned, if that makes sense. I'll keep this and be, kind of naked turn 1. So I'm basically hoping for a land pass here. If I get Chaliced, it's annoying, but I guess I'll take it. Okay, I didn't fade the turn 1 play. Then I have some looks with Bauble. Fury confirmed in the list. Ooh, lots of cards will crush me here. Trinisphere, Blood Moon. Okay. So now the question is, am I better off killing my opponent's City of Traders? I think I am. It's very hard for Delver to play the 3 lands, and I just passed up that opportunity. But I think in the meantime, too much bad stuff can happen that I'm willing to try and get lucky here. That A, my opponent stumbles, and B, I get, my 3rd land before being dead. That being said, the combination of those 2 scenarios, very low likelihood. Okay, the opponent shocked himself here, so they have a Spirit Guide in a play. Very, very bad for me. Oh, okay, fair enough. The opponent forgot about Trinisphere being symmetrical. It can happen. I draw Pyroblast, here, all cards that aren't lands are bad draws. So, and I'm trying to find one of my 15 remaining lands. I'm definitely not a favorite to get there, that's for sure. The opponent could follow up with 2 lands, which sucks. And this has game 3 written all over it, unfortunately. Sometimes when I face that start, if I don't wasteland my opponent can start playing 3 drops right away. And so it's way better to take this gamble and actually give yourself a chance to win. Instead of, not losing for a couple of turns, if that makes sense. So with the Hearse in play, I have a lot of cards that are bad, but it's still just a matter of, if I find the land, I can play Magic. Now, if I get Blood Moon, I can fetch Basic Island in response. So the good thing is here, after winning game 1, I'm kind of playing with house money game 2, and then game 3, when I'm on the play, Daze is better, Hydroblast is better. Just getting a creature into play is awesome. So I'm in good spirits here. Also, it looks like my opponent doesn't really respect Meltdown as one of my cards here. Just imagine I have Meltdown on a 3rd land and I kill Mox double Hearse. I'm not the biggest fan of playing out 2nd Hearse in this spot. I do need to hit a land to even, have a move in this game. And right now we know our opponent doesn't have like proactive stuff like Rebel Master or whatever. We do hit the land. So we're in business here, everybody. Okay. I'll actually pass here. If I can daze something, I'm happy. If not, I brainstorm end of turn. Yeah, that would be fine. I have Hydro if my opponent plays more mana sources first. We have a game on our hands here. One of the opponent's cards could be Fury. I'm dreaming of a Fury Christmas. Another Tray Ball. Yeah, I'm not so sure that's like a good play, but who knows? I'll go for Basic Island, Panic, and then I will cast turn 5 Brainstorm, everybody. This is funny. So I guess these baubles are quite horrible. Should I Wasteland or should I fetch so I draw a freshie next turn? I think I will go for the latter. This game is very strange. My opponent's last card is probably something like Dead Gone, like a reactive card. Could also be Pyroblast. I think it's some kind of reactive card. It's not a threat. It's not a mana source. I mean, it could also be second Chrome, but it's better to prepare for like good stuff rather than just say, oh, it's just a Chrome box, whatever. But trying to narrow down your opponent's hand is big part of my game, at least. Like, what can the opponent have? What would make sense? What kind of story are they telling? Here's a Spirit Guide, which, funnily enough, represents something in combination with the Hearse. So I'm actually gonna Hydroblast it, which is a sad world to live in. Then I'm gonna fetch. So Meltdown would be insane. 1-drop creature would be insane. If I don't draw anything, I'm actually just going to wasteland my opponent's City of Traders, because then all of a sudden Daze is back in the menu when it comes to dealing with 3-drops, and I can just pass the turn with 3 mana. This game is pretty cool, I'll say. I'll say that much. Okay, so time to draw something cool. Also, funnily enough, I could choose to try and go to 6 mana and have double spell available, but I think this is slightly better. I'm still gonna pass here. It's not the best to pass in this spot, but these cards are just dead. Let's say I tap, like I ponder, then these Dazes don't do anything for sure. If my opponent plays out 4th land, then I can consider like focusing on being proactive rather than sit here with Daze. Also worth noting is, while Lightning Bolt is good, if my opponent resolves the creature, the opponent can crew the hearse as, kind of hasty style. Let's see what the opponent goes for. 2 cards from their own or 1 card from my graveyard. Oh, they lost connection to the game. Fair enough. I'll go for a quick pause and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back here. The opponent says Unlicensed Hearse crashed the game. That's not very nice to know for this weekend's tournaments. So yeah, let's try and refresh this game state. I'm trying to make my Daze an answer card, but once the opponent plays out the 4th mana source, that plan is out the window. Unless it's Stinger, it's Magus of the Moon. So yeah, sure. Magus resolves. If my opponent crews, I'll take a hit. I will kill the Magus regardless. And then I'll drop the Daze plan and start digging for threats with Ponder. Let's Lightning Bolt that card. Yeah, my opponent having 4 mana sources in play is just a death sentence for the Dazes. I tried my best. And now I'm digging for Meltdown or Threat. Meltdown would be incredible here. Simply incredible. In the meantime, I lose to a lot of stuff, but that's the hand I'm dealt this time around. Ponder with a fetch. Yeah, so funnily enough, these cards are not good enough. Let's shuffle, draw Force of Will. I'll hang on to this Misty. It might come in handy with Bauble. So I do have a couple of forces, but I'm still shields down here and can interact. Creatures would crush me. I can basically only beat like mana sources and more artifacts. The opponent's playing stuff, so I'm not too optimistic here. 4 mana, is that just a stinger? That would just crush me. Chalice of the Void for 2. Okay, I'll accept that. Drawing a land wouldn't be bad. Then I can Bauble Force Unholy Heat. So, do I get going with Bauble or hold up Force? Very exciting. I'm trying to wrap my head around whether being faster to dig or prolonging is better. I don't know. I'll try and pass with the tiebreaker, deciding tiebreaker that if I draw land, I can do both. Yeah, what a game. This is one of the longer ones. So I have the island. I can counter everything meaningful. I'm dreaming of the Force of Negation to be relevant against something like Fable. There's a land. There's the meltdown. Okay, I mean, oh, this game is amazing. So meltdown X3. I will kill Chrome Mox, double Hearse, double Trinisphere, and a Chalice. Let's see. X is 3. Done. Ah, what a game, what a game, what a game. Now I can bobble myself with the fetch, even have access to the card on the opponent's turn. Let's see. Ponder. Ponder is definitely better than a random card. So I draw the Ponder. Now Murktide is back on the menu with my graveyard unlocked rather. Chalice of the Void for 1. Great card. Can't let that happen though. Let's force some negation, pitch Daze. And now I have so many good hits with a cantrip in hand, hard counter, even a removal for a lot of stuff. And I draw Murky. All right, all right. Let's ponder into the Delve. Wait a minute. 4 cards in the yard. Okay. Okay, that's a bit annoying. But now I have to choose, which is not the end of the world, obviously. So maybe I go like this. Draw the Hydro. Play Murktide Regent. Draw the Delver and then fetch. That should do it. Opponent's down to 8. I will counter Death Gone. I have 2 hard counters here. This is in the back. Very, very surprising game. I was lucky to Wasteland kind of fail at disrupting my opponent, and then still hitting my 3rd land without dying, simply because the opponent drew redundant Trinisphere, redundant Hearse. So that card is right now a 7/7. So we can counter. And now the game is just straight up over, even if the opponent draws something that deals with Murktide. Yeah, wow, okay. This deck showed a bit of durability here. Very lucky to beat Trinisphere. That doesn't happen very often. But we had a clear sight of what needed to happen this game in order for us to win. And yeah, we got there. That's like a pretty good lesson to take with you is if you know like what kind of development do we need in order to win this game. And then once you have these 2 options of like we don't control if we draw lands or we draw meltdown or whatever, but we can kind of control, do we hold up Daze, do we Wasteland, do we dig with cantrips, like what's the what are we digging towards, and what will the opponent do in the meantime on average? And then maybe we can make more educated decisions. That was actually kind of cool, even though it was like a very long game, and the opponent got kind of unlucky, and we got kind of lucky. But that's just that's what's gonna happen on any day of the week when we play Magic the Gathering. So we try and focus on what did we actually have influence over, and I think that's very important to think about. Okay, that was it for round 2 rather. Let's play one more. Okay, welcome back. Round 3, we're on the play. I'm playing Issa Delver and winning while doing it, which is always fun. We have a cool hand here. We can go Channeler. We have a free counter. We can follow up with another Channeler. I feel like this is an okay way to play. I realize I can get Wastelanded out of the game here, but a lot of the time that would be not the best move from the opponent. So I'm kind of leaning on that context to be true. Grief, pitch, grief. So the opponent can strip the force and then kind of do whatever they want here. Okay, another grief from the opponent. So I guess Channeler hits the bin. And if that's the case, I can start attacking for 3 in the air. If that's not the case, I can develop one more Channeler, kind of like both of those. So now I go Ponder, look for next land, get Delirium. I already have a Delver, so I don't think I want another. Let's see if we can spike the land here off the Ponder. Okay, we get Dazed here. I don't mind that either. That's totally fine. And funnily enough, I'm winning the race here because of Reanimate. So the opponent could sense weakness here after seeing my hand and try and wasteland me out of the game. Yeah, okay. Which is a very good play. You kind of stomp me a little bit with countering the Ponder. But I'm a big champ. I drew the land. Like, yeah, very good play from the opponent after seeing my hand. Unfortunate development, but it's important to credit. Anyway, here I'll upkeep Brainstorm to kind of ensure the flip. If my opponent dazes once more, they're set behind heavily. Don't want you. Draw, put 2 on top. So what I can do here is I can go, wait a minute. I'm going to draw one of them. I'm going to draw the Brainstorm, and then I can mill away the Channeler. So flip, draw, attack my opponent down to 4, and from here, I only see Murktide Regent. Like, fetch, nah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The opponent doesn't have the resources here. And there you go. Who am I to, yeah, turn 1 Grief Reanimate? I don't mind that sequence. That sequence can stay in the format. Okay, so I'm just gonna take an educated guess that I play against Reanimator. Obviously, it could just be like the more classic mid-range decks with the Grief package, but I think it's good to assume the opponent's going to do something broken. And with that in mind, how do we sideboard? Actually, I didn't think enough about this. It's also very possible that these reanimates aren't the best. I want the Graveyard Hate. Actually don't know. Maybe I cut Negation. I think that's very reasonable. Could cut something like... Yeah, it's tough. I'm not a big Daze guy, especially on the draw. Get Daze all the way out of there. Is that good? And cut a Bauble. Then I need to cut one more card. Let's see, what kind of removal are we working with? No, not removal. What kind of targets for removal are we working with over there? We're working with Grief, Bowmasters. Yeah, I like the theory of this pile over here, making sure my opponent doesn't, outbroken me. And then I have... This is the removal for Troll. So is Heat. Brazen Borrower isn't the best. Maybe, just maybe, it's Counterbalance? Or just another Bauble, I guess. I don't know. It could also be Delver in a Bowmaster world. Maybe I'm supposed to think about that more. Okay, I'll try this. It's very possible I'm supposed to shave Delvers there. I haven't played Issa Delver in, well, maybe never, so I didn't give it too much thought, but I'm sure some Delver experts will assist us on that one. We have some 1/1s here in a surgical. It's just a decent hand, nothing crazy. So let's see. If I'm gonna get Bowmastered, I feel like I should play Delver. Because if that card flips, it's too late. And my opponent might not want to play it into Daze, but who knows? The opponent keeps the card on top. There's Surveil Land. Here's Orcish Bowmasters. Unfortunately, that works. So then on my turn, I can go Channeler Lightning Bolt. I think I do that, even though Daze is good in that scenario. Questing Druid is not bad. So let's go Channeler. Let's go Lightning Bolt. You get dazed here, which is unfortunate, but it's part of the game. And now with that in mind, I think I want another Channeler. That card is quite strong. So if I get Bowmastered again, I most likely can't win, but that's just how Legacy works these days. Go for the throat. Yes, that works. The opponent can get in for some chip damage. They might be building for Murktide. Let's play one more Channeler. And then I'm kind of ready to end step the Questing Druid, which is a draw spell without actually drawing cards. Opponent fetches white. Okay. So let's see. Exile top 2 cards until your next end step. Yeah, I should probably just take one here because I might find something like Force of Will if the opponent plays a good card. And at that point, the opponent will just pass the turn in that spot. Is this a plow? Pest control. Okay. So I'll try and fetch green here. Pest control is very bad news, but I mean, the 1-for-1 is acceptable here. So let's see. I'll Questing Druid in response to get a little bit more selection with Channeler. Land is not very interesting. Pyroblast Ponder. Yeah, the Pyroblast is quite bad, but I guess so is the Ponder. Kind of a bad draw. I don't want to respect I don't want to respect second Daze. I think this is a better way to play. Then I'm going to Murktide and grow the Druid and basically try and win with these cards. Have Surgical. But the thing is, my opponent has white mana, so Plow is a big thing. What is this? Petty Theft. Unfortunately, that works. Wasteland. Okay, reanimate on my Delver, so it's actually... I get kind of a little bit usage out of Surgical here. And the question is if I want to remove those from my deck. I don't think so. So I get the Questing Druid to 3. I put an instant in my yard. I'm only one, fetch land away from casting Murktide, so fetch land is a decent draw. Lightning Bolt is a decent draw as well. So we can kill Bowmaster, attack for 4, and then I'm just any land, any fetch, any bauble away from casting Murktide. Looks like the opponent might have accidentally F6 there. What I'm going to do here is Wasteland Scrubland. Opponent will cycle Troll. Okay, so no Brazen was played. So I don't want to get dazed here, but I think it's good to play before combat to try and, grow the Druid. No Daze. My opponent's at 8. What is going on here? Wow. We managed to beat the getting dazed, getting roted. That came off in the wrong way. Pest control, getting Bowmastered early. Wow, we threaded the needle here. Delver is Delver can beat a lot of stuff. And even I had a bad Seek the Beast, but the card itself was kind of brutal, with Surgical in the back pocket. I draw the Bolt like a champ. Okay, that was sick. I think the right play when I wasteland my opponent there is play the Brazen out in response, because you can always cycle with Troll on your own turn. But this would have been way more mana efficient. Getting the 3-1 into play at least would have been a chump blocker for one turn. It's like time to find, what do I know? Probably Swords to Plowshares at that point. But, wow, okay. Delver sure gets the job done. I will play until I lose, so don't go anywhere. Okay, we go again. Round 4. I'm playing Issa Delver. Currently haven't even dropped the game, which feels kind of weird with the way the games have been going. In general, I don't think the amount of times you beat turn 1 Trinisphere is very high. Nor, getting Bowmastered, Pest Controlled, stuff like that happened in the previous match. So yeah, sometimes the results doesn't tell the whole story. Nice message from the opponent here. I always like those. So let's see what we can do here. Underground Sea pass. I was about to go start a next level analysis of, the opponent's Underground Sea's foil. That means they're very passionate. And Storm is an older deck than the blue-black deck of 2024, so chances are this is a Storm deck. But I'm not going to do that. Volcanic Island, very bad draw for the turn. So I'm trying to think here. The problem is, Bobble is good at flipping Delver, but play against a freaking blue-black deck, so probably supposed to look at my own deck now. So the cost of doing this is playing into Stifle in case I don't want this card, which I don't. So it's that versus not getting this selection. Yeah, it's a very tough call. It's a very tough call to make. I will probably do this choice once more, but it was very painful. So let's see. Because it's like I play around, I get selection, and I play around Bowmasters. I could have gone the complete other direction where I go Bauble, like Volcanic Island, Delver, Bauble, and then I try and flip my own Delver. But the thing is, yeah, Bowmasters is already killing this. Okay. That's actually an important... That Bowmasters was already so good against Delver that maybe I was supposed to Bauble myself here to have it flip more easily. Very tough. Very tough. So no Bowmasters on the opponent's side. Flips. My opponent fatal pushes. Okay, so it looks like my opponent's on the more fair blue-black deck. where it still has Reanimate and Trolls in it, but no like Reef and Entomb and stuff. Hmm. I want to try and end step this Questing Druid. Okay, okay. Really rough start to this. Like, I have to Force a Will of Stifle. That's the dream for that deck. Rainstorms, fine. Hmm. Another tough call. I could have responded there, basically to lower the chance of the opponent finding Daze. I don't know if that's good. The upside of waiting is, I guess I do it now. No, I think I'm fine. The upside of waiting is, if the opponent taps out, I can find a Daze and actually, do a good trade. Wow, Magic is a tough game. This game in itself. So probably, if I Google this opponent, I'd probably get a better idea of what to do. But I think it's better to, to develop developing skills by practicing in the dark. But let's see. Okay, land lightning bolt. Not anything crazy here. Another land. Okay, that sucks. So now I go fetch the Trop, play Druid, bold my opponent. Questing Druid. Bold on the life total. I get the Druid to a 2/2, which survives Bowmaster. So this looks like some Sultai Beanstalk action. No, I'm really not sure. Like Sultai, maybe it's still like a grief deck. Tough to say. Tough to say. There's a lot of mix and match between these. So in other words, I'm not getting shocked if the opponent plays Beanstalk, and I'm not getting shocked if the opponent reanimates a troll, basically. Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. This looks like Murktide Regent, which is not my favorite card to see here, especially because it dodges Unholy Heat. Yeah, a lot of bad things happened since I had to Force a Will to Stifle. With knowledge about Stifle, I could have gone Volcanic. Yeah, that was a tough one. Great play by the opponent. Growing the Murktide to a 7/7, then Sanctuary back the Fatal Push, which still grows the Murktide, but the opponent has a Fatal Push ready next turn. Also, they have double black, so I can't even stop it with Wasteland. Looks like this is a Brazen Borrower game. Can't really worry too much about Bowmasters at this point. I'm kind of getting desperate. Mm-hmm. Question is, yeah, I think I played this card out. Channeler, Bauble. Get that card out of there. Play Ponder, grow the Druid, but that's not really the best. That card is bad. Unholy Heat is not terrible. So let's see. Since I'm drawing, it's just I really want to mill over this island. So how do I do that? Drawing the Heat. But then what if the opponent takes the damage? Let's see if it works. No. Let's attack for 5, I guess. The problem is the opponent is going to respect Lightning Bolt here and take the damage. And then I'm going to draw the freaking island. So I got in for 5 damage, representing Lightning Bolt. The opponent has 1 removal, which targets that one. And then the opponent can no attack here if they want. Maybe? Yeah, I don't know. This game could get close, actually. It's a bit sad the Murktide is 8/8, because that's 2 turns of attacks. So I have to chum block with the Channeler I have on top. But I think that's the name of the game here, and I can't beat my opponent having much of anything, so. Play another Channeler. If I get forced here, the game is over. I actually can't even imagine my opponent's last cards in hand. Sheldred's Edict. Very sad. So no. Wait a minute. Did the opponent just make a mistake? I think they did. I think they're supposed to take. No, it doesn't work. It's an edict, so I can just sacrifice the tap one. The opponent did not make a mistake. The opponent played very well. So now, opponent fetches a Surveil land. They attack. I hope to trade with Heat plus Channeler. And then we're kind of into no resources, playing from the top mode. Ugh. The opponent put Bowmasters in the yard. Interesting. Up the Beanstalk. Okay, so they play a little bit of everything here. Is this Murktide for their last 2 mana? Beautiful. Beautiful sequence here from the opponent. They put the 5th card in the yard. Oh, Murderous Cut. So same thing. Okay. Okay. I think that's a tough matchup. Counterbalance. Submerge, even. Do I want Price of Progress? So I can cut the card disadvantage stuff. Keep the Daze. What about Price of Progress? It seems like that deck is like mono basics. And that I will be the aggressor a lot of the time. I could definitely see Price being a card. Question is, can I cut something like a removal spell? Maybe like one Unholy Heat? One Unholy Heat that counterbalance? Is that reasonable? Maybe it's just 2 Unholy Heats. Okay, I'll try. So I'm basically trying to be the aggressor and close out my opponent while being on the play. Yeah. Let's see. Nice Zero-lander here. Okay. I don't mind this. Question is, do I want to cast turn 2 counterbalance? I think I do, and then I'll just get to the Murktide eventually, maybe? Or get to the Pyroblast eventually. Okay, I'll try and bottom the Pyroblast. I don't think Pyroblast is crazy good against that deck, because their threats... I mean, they don't turbo out a Murktide or anything, so I think it's okay to not have it in my opener. Really want to get to a... Very classic. I want to get to a land here that isn't... That isn't a Wasteland, basically. Ooh, the Stifler really got me in the other game. That changed a lot. Daze was a good draw, especially if I get to Daze something. Then I can kind of look further. Carpet. Carpet's so strong. The opponent might force it through here. I'll take the second land. Let's see what I think about it, yeah. So now I'm in the good old predicament of, should I play around Wasteland or Stifle? But I'm also helping against carpet, so I'm gonna play like this and pass. Allow myself to get stifled. Ugh. But carpet doesn't do anything, and the opponent doesn't have blue mana, so looks like I made a good decision. So now I can go. Maybe I just end step this brainstorm actually. Wasteland, I don't think is good with like active carpet, so let's not do that. So here I can put. Let's think a little bit here. Can we do some smart things here against the opponent? Counterbalance, keep a 2-drop on top. This sounds kind of bad. Play counterbalance, mill counterbalance. This bauble is actually quite bad because of Bowmaster, but I think I'm supposed to do it. Sheldred's Edict. Okay, that's annoying. Let's attack. See if we get Bowmastered. I don't. Draw Pyroblast, which is good against my opponent's Murktide down the line. The cool thing about my opponent drawing Sheldred's Edict is it's not getting the Murktide. Okay, the opponent wants some black mana here. So I guess we just random flip here. There's a price of progress, so the opponent can't Edict here, which is pretty cool because they already chose to float the black mana. Price of progress. It's sad the opponent sees that plan because I actually think it would have been, you know, I would knock it out the park later. Sure, Lauren revealed. 2 is a good number to have on top. That's why I considered the second counterbalance, but I think this is better. Let's see if the opponent has anything that isn't the 2-drop. So I'll draw the price. I will attack. My opponent plays Edict. I can brainstorm the 2-drop back to the deck. That would be my second brainstorm, so the opponent has reason to let this happen. Ooh, I like this card a lot, so I can play that. So let's brainstorm. Do I like the third land? Maybe I don't need the third land. Do I mill over both of those, or do I like the price? That's the main thing here. The opponent will go down to 11, and I have another one. I guess I just... I can still do this, I guess. Say no. Play Channeler. Keep both cards on top here. Oh, I mean, yeah. Say yes to both triggers. Opponent draws a Murktide, but that's fine. Funnily enough, I still have the 2-drop, so upkeep, Bowmaster's here, doesn't do anything. The opponent's at 11. Wow. Wait. I made a mistake here. Yeah. I would have been the best player in the world. Or I guess just competent Delver pilot. So what a good player would have done is put the Murktide underneath the price, because I'm drawing from Bauble. That makes the 7-drop like clear their Murktide. And I mean, it doesn't. I don't need this card in hand right now. The land would have been just as fine, and I would have access to both. Oof, brutal, brutality. So let's see. Do I want that land? Yeah, I kind of messed up here. Okay. So draw the land, which is not bad. Then I will try and kill the Murktide. If the opponent has Hydroblast, they should respond. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, damn. I wish I played that game perfect instead of just great. Yeah, but that gets the job done. I take my opponent down to 5. They're too much on the back foot. They know about the price, so we do force a game 3 here. What about now? Counterbalance on the draw, like slow. Now that my opponent knows about price, and I know about carpet, that kind of loses some value. So I don't necessarily love those. Force of Will could be like a necessary evil, because Pop the Beanstalk in play. I think I lose to that card, but I'm not 100% sure. Daze on the draw is not my favorite card. I could get tempted into having a couple of balances instead. Or a couple of heats. Is that good? I don't think it's very good. It looks like that deck is basically trying to take advantage of stranding removal in your opponent's hand and then kind of outdrawing in a longer game. Okay, we can keep this. Not my favorite hand, especially against Mr. Stifle over there. Counterbalance is a decent one. So we have the same problem as game 1, except we don't have the option to play a normal land out, so there's that. Let's see if the opponent has to Stifle. They don't, so you might have a game on our hands here. Same Bowmaster dilemma here. If I play around Bowmasters, it still gets to kill the Delver. And I trimmed Daze, so yeah, I'll try this. I trimmed Daze, so I don't have many outs, to find on the opponent's upkeep here. Yeah, very tough call. Let's see what kind of stuff the opponent has. Carpet, bad news. Masters, bad news. Witherbloom command. Bad news, I guess. Okay. The opponent gets back a fetch land. I think now is the time for me to just play Counterbalance and hope for the best. Submerge could be good. Let's play Counterbalance. Let's play Bauble, fire it off right away. Bowmasters would be annoying. No Bowmasters. I don't know the top card of my deck. Here's up the Beanstalk, which is very, very good. Misty Rainforest, so the coast is clear. Up the Beanstalk makes Murktide, Murderous Cut, stuff like that better. And I believe once it's in play, I don't have many, if any, answers for it. I feel like I should play, no, I mean, the 3/3 Murktide. Wow, that's actually amazing. No instants of sorceries in the yard. So that plane kind of sucks. Wasteland also seems kind of bad, so maybe I go Channeler Land. Channeler Fetch Land to have a little bit of a second shot in the barrel for counterbalance. Yeah, the opponent's under no pressure and they have up the beanstalk going. That is quite bad. Let's see if Murktide hits the stack here. I'll be in big. I'm in general. I'm just in big trouble here. So let's see if we can spike a 1-drop. We did spike a 1-drop. Nice Pyroblast from the top of the deck. The opponent's kind of checking the 1-drops. So this looks like Murderous Cut. Nope, no Murderous Cut. I believe drawing that Pyroblast is decent. How do I play from here? Probably just back? The opponent? Oh, the opponent wastelanded me. Okay. I will try and wasteland my opponent's Bayou here. There is a chance I should have just attacked first. This could be... Yeah, I could have lost 1 damage there, potentially. So, opponent tutors up another land. I get in for 1. And I have this counterbalance that you never really know if it's the best card in the world or it's a blank piece of cardboard. Also, the opponent knows about Pyroblast. They don't know about Submerge. Let's see if I can keep being a lucky camper here. Ponder resolves, I think. Is that, or do I sense weakness? Do I sense a little bit of weakness here? I hate this play. I hate this play. I'll mill over the Force of Will. Also, remember, the context of this match is the opponent thinks about price of progress. Let's see if we can spike the 1. We don't. We have another Force of Will there. Then the question becomes, do we want that Force of Will or not? Force of Will, pitch, submerge. Try and have a Murktide going. Okay, I'll try that plan. Let's get in for 3. When it's at 15 and I play a 5/5 Murktide. One, 2. So the good news is, okay, it's going to resolve. No, not even a force. I was about to say, the good news is I have Force of Will, but the bad news is they kind of cantrip off of their Force of Will. At this point, I think I play around Daze over wastelanding the opponent. Also, right now I only have creature, land, artifact in the yard, but yeah, whenever I play an instant, I get Delirium right away. Okay, so now we saw the opponent respects price of progress a ton, and now it's like it's getting interesting. Interesting. So, oh, okay. I forgot about this. My opponent knows about this Force of Will. So I guess let's see if we can spike a 2-drop. Can't. We have a bauble. I feel like I just did sacrifice this Channeler here. But why did the opponent go to instep? No, maybe this is time to step on the gas. Okay, opponent. I'll step on the gas here. Okay, opponent, step on the gasolina. Does pondering now make any sense? I don't think so. I'll do it on second main when I know whether I got in for the damage or not. The opponent's at 5. No Bowmaster man up. I'm definitely going to cast this. Okay, I'm going to keep this bolt. The Daze is very bad. So I'm going to go have the 2-drop on top. Worst brainstorm in my life. 4 lands in hand and another 3 lands. Yeah, I can't recommend that. That's definitely not ideal. Now I have a 2-drop on top of the deck. Do I Wasteland my opponent here to limit their options? Yes. The reason why I'm doing that is I feel like the game is over if I can get one hit in with either of these creatures in combination with the bolt. All right, so we managed to take down the Sultai Beanstalk deck as well. Kona has a grip of lands, but that's the stuff we can't control. We can't control the choices we have in our game, and that was trying to tempo out this game, trying to get lucky with counterbalance, trying to get Delirium, force through as much damage as possible, force of Willing, and Edict. That was at the time only killing a 1/1. That was like my agency in the game, and I think it's important to think about. Like, what can I do to make sure I win the games I'm supposed to win, if that makes sense. All right, that puts it at 4-0. I actually my schedule is kind of under pressure a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll take a break for some hours, and then I'll play the trophy match for you guys. Viewing pleasure, just in a moment. Okay, here we are for round 5. We reached the conclusion of the event. We have reached the peak of the mountain, and I got a haircut in the meantime. But let's try and finish off strong here. Let's mulligan a 0-lander, and the good old mulligan a 0-lander into a 4-lander. I don't think I can go further, but I don't have high hopes for this hand. Let's bobble ourselves. Force a will. I think I'm supposed to draw that Force a will and hope our opponent is some kind of glass cannon deck. I think that's my best bet at this point, and then hopefully draw a creature to actually do something. Draw Daze. Daze is not a bad draw. Basic Island Pass. What does that tell us? Something like Show and Tell, Blooded Strand, could be Control. The Lightning Bolt doesn't look very strong, and as I say that, I draw another. We really need things to work out from here to win, because we're not putting up any pressure, so even if I manage to win the counter war over something like Show and Tell, it just doesn't do anything. Here's Timeless Dragon. Funnily enough, that card is very, very good against me. Okay, so my opponent's on control, basic land control, which is historically a very tough matchup. Opponent's on full grip. And now draw the Wasteland to laugh in my face. I'll actually slow roll that Wasteland. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'll end up double bolting a threat that my opponent cycled to get in the yard. What a beating. Here comes no Wasteland. Okay. Okay. I'll allow it. Here comes a Murktide Regent. Now I play out the Wasteland. I mean, I don't think that deck runs Daze, but that will be the reason. Let's say the opponent goes Timeless Dragon from the yard, Eternalize. Then I double bolted, and I don't want my opponent to play Daze in that spot. It does, however, tip off my opponent here in the way that they need to get Tundra, but now they can kind of choose if they want that or not. I guess in a perfect world, my opponent fetches, I double bolt the token, Wasteland the Tundra, and then my opponent has to like move the cleanup, and we can kind of get into the game that way, but it's looking very, very grim at the moment. Also, drawing stuff like Questing Druid would be cool. Looks like the opponent's going for the Eternalize. Yeah, this card is quite cool. Oh, okay, no Eternalize, I guess. Yeah, Teferi is unfortunately a good one. I think I pitched the Daze. Yeah. Terrible stuff. Opponent forces back. I will force once more, I think. Yeah. Yeah, this is sad. Especially because the opponent is so likely to just have a plow, but let's see. We draw a Ponder. Still looking for the Questing Druid mainly. You know, Wasteland, shuffle the Ponder, draw a Force of Will. And my plan is still double bolting the token while my opponent has almost a full grip. Okay. Not a white source. Play Channeler. It's a 3/3. Kind of requires an answer. Could have waited until I draw one more blue card, but I don't think that makes a ton of sense. So funnily enough, this could be some kind of land still deck, in theory. I don't know. The black is usually, like, historically has been for, like, a third color for explosives out of the sideboard or something along those lines. Obviously, these days, it could just be, you know, that's funny. Obviously, these days, it could just be, Go Master as well. So the opponent goes for the standstill there, which I believe is the right play. My opponent is banking on finding a white source before they're dead to the Channeler. Should I have bolted my opponent in response here? It's very possible I should. Okay, I draw a Force of Will, which is not a bad draw, but yeah, must attack. It's not a bad draw, but I mean, I'm gonna break that standstill eventually, I feel like. Ooh, okay, we're threading the needle right now. Questing Druid, sure. Also, it's funny that this Otawara, the opponent could have held that one, and then any land, even like Basic Island or whatever, then the opponent could have bounced my Chandler. It doesn't look like it does anything really in play. Brick. It's a Wasteland. That is a brick. I would call that a brick. I accept the Wasteland. This is absurd. A is not going to do anything this game, most likely. This game could easily come down to my opponent breaking their own standstill. Wow. Oh, God. Lightning Bolt is a good draw. I'm not going to pretend it's not. The opponent goes down to 5 here. Huh. That's so unlucky from the opponent's side of the table. That's extremely unlucky. Let's try and get one more hit in here. Now I have double force. The opponent's at 2 life. I feel like I should just discard Questing Druid. but I suspect I won't get the chance. So let's draw 3. Yes, I find Lightning Bolt with double force backup. Nice game. Lightning Bolt to the dome. Put that card away. This good old Spell Pierce. Force Pitch Ponder. I don't want more land. I already have one. Let's see. Yes. Pitch what? Pitch Ponder, maybe? Don't want the Wasteland. So the cool thing about this scenario is I still have 2 lethal bolts here. So that game was not winnable. The opponent could have slow rolled the Otawara there, and then all of a sudden, the Volcanic Island would have helped, discarding that card. But yeah, that was just absurd. My opponent's playing basic land control for the most part. So maybe we go something along this. Let's see how much? 59. Surgical. So a card like Soul Guide can remove the dragon from the yard and then cantrip later. I think that's reasonable. I keep the Dazes, which I'm not sure about. I can actually cut a couple of Wastelands in this matchup, and then maybe have a couple of negations. That card is reasonable against Teferi, against Standstill, but generally not the best. I think Soul Guide is slightly better than Surgical. I keep the Heats because those cards can kill Teferi that plussed or kill Eternalized Timeless Dragon. Oh my. That game was not the normal game of Magic. The opponent had infinite turns to find that white source. And then they made that small suboptimal that choice of playing out the Otawara. Because I think if they don't do that, they can bounce the Channeler ahead of before dying, and then at that point it becomes a race with the bolts. And I probably start playing into the Standstill and stuff like that. So yeah. He seized the opportunity to win that game. I think in a perfect world, I don't win that game. That's why we play out the games. Otherwise, we could just run it through some simulation where everybody plays perfectly, but that's not fun. So this hand is decent. Let's see if that Wasteland is any good. I'll deploy a threat. I would love to draw another land. So I don't know about this C, if it's actually representing a black spell or it's not. Bauble does not help here. Let's attack and take it from there. I will play Ponder. Okay, so that gets Spell Pierced. I think that's alrighty. Let's Wasteland the opponent's Underground Sea, deploy Bauble, and wait, cracking the Bauble to help flip the Delver. I suspect my opponent is running 1 Underground Sea and 1 Volcanic, which would make this run out pretty unlucky. Let's see, what do I have on top? I have another Delver. That means I want to put Delver Trigger on the stack first, so I draw. I draw the card I know doesn't flip Delver, and another card that does not flip Delver either. Now let's attack. I wonder which one drop I should play out here. Probably the Channeler. But there is something to be said about the card Hydroblast. Card Hydroblast. But if I play this and I have to force something, I get some more selection in. I really like the thought of that. It's basically the selection versus the Hydroblast. So, tough call. Cycle Timeless Dragon. Oh, that card is so good. So strong against my deck. Can't get countered. Can't get bolted. Can get soul guided though. So here's a prismatic ending. I'm forcing over this, I feel like. Even though the opponent could have Pyroblast. That's not ideal at all. I'll try and force pitch Murktide. Here's a land. I don't mind this land, but it's not an Unholy Heat, which is my main problem. And that dragon is coming next turn. Okay, I'll try and be a big boy here and get rid of the land. Also, it doesn't flip the Delver, so we're trying to maximize our damage output here. Flip the Delver. Nope. Okay. No Delver flip, so let's attack. And now I can choose between Murktide. I just get completely destroyed by Supreme Verdict or Counterbalance. I think this is one of those games where getting Murktide going is important. So I keep Bauble out there. It's the hardest type to put in the yard. Please don't verdict me, bro. I can basically only beat my opponent having, I don't know, maybe get stuck on lands or something. Okay, that's annoying. Allow the big boy, but that means no dragon, so let's flip the Delver. Mishra's Bauble. That's a shame. We'll play Counterbalance, look at the top card. Yeah, that's the thing. Pyroblast is a good one, though. But if my opponent hits the land drop, it doesn't do anything. I'll keep it on top. Let's see. That resolves. Bauble resolves. Keep the Bauble, even though it doesn't feel very good. Dovin's Veto. I don't care about that card. That is very welcome. This game is so strange. I feel like I have no business being in these games. Now my opponent knows I kept a card on top. I just can't imagine my opponent jamming a 1-drop into this situation. That would just be reckless, in my opinion. Especially because my deck is full of 1-drops, and a lot of the cards I wanted to keep on top there probably 1-drops. I made a mistake with the Bauble. Snapcaster. Yeah, I made a mistake with the Bauble. That's terrible. Because what I was supposed to do was just activate on the opponent's turn, so I had a 1-drop on top. And even that 1-drop even flips the Delver. Okay, fair enough. So my opponent goes for that play. I have 2 types, artifact and creature. But I still think thankfully I don't get punished, but it was not a good play. So I have a couple of negations, so I guess we check. There's a polluted delta. Chandler goes back to hand. So I think what I'm supposed to do here is Fetch. Let's go for the tropical. Then I go Channeler. Then I go Pyroblast. Look at the top card. Get rid of an enchantment. Delver. Pass. But I still feel like I have to dodge the 4th land. The 4th land is a killer here. Still no double white. So no Verdict, no Timeless Dragon from the yard, and no one of my opponent's cards in hand is Dovin's Veto. Dovin's Veto. I wonder why you bring that in. Let's see. Can I flip the Delver? I can flip the Delver. I'm not gonna play the Veto out. Into the Veto, rather. The opponent's now at 7 life. Wow. I'm not too sure about this game. Take the turn. That's so funny. Let's attack. The opponent's at 1 life. So I wonder if I should... Yeah, I think playing this Lantern is a good play. Do I want to keep a 1-drop on top? I think I do, yes. My opponent can veto the Soul Guide. That's okay. I'm not going to look any deeper. I'm just trying to cut off, like, Swords to Plowshares, Pyroblast, Hydroblast, like some of the cheap stuff. But it is... Yeah, wow. I got so extremely lucky this game with how my opponent's lands lined up. Underground Sea, bad land. Volcanic Island, not very strong. It doesn't cast any spells. My opponent never found double white despite cycling Timeless Dragon. That was just so lucky, but I guess we take it. This is not a good matchup. I basically label it like basic land control. You can get verdicted, you'll get plowed. I can't wasteland my opponent out of the game, so I have to get lucky. And I did. The opponent lost the game with several spells in hand, and yeah, wow. Very lucky end to this video. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. It's always cool to get some good results live on camera, and yeah, today was no exception. Okay, I think I'll play some more top tier legacy strategies throughout the week, so definitely join me for that one if you care about legacy and getting some hopefully some insights. So that's the beauty about this. I learn something every time I play, and hopefully you do as well watching. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you next time.